He's here to tell us exactly what those yoga pants were made for. He's a client of Startup Aggie Land from the MS Biz program. Let's welcome Connor Pogue.
My name is Connor Pogue, and I have a bachelor's in kinesiology, and in a few weeks I'll be completing my master's in business. And I'm here today to represent Exosphere Performance. Today we're seeking $15,000 to complete the prototyping based on our design for manufacture. The Exosphere is the outermost edge of our atmosphere. It's the pinnacle, the limit. We understand what it means to push limits. We do this all the time in science, technology, engineering. And definitely when it comes to healthcare, we're constantly creating new medical procedures, new types of drugs. But what about when it comes to preventative healthcare? If you go to your doctor, you're probably going to get two pieces of advice. They're going to tell you to eat better and get more exercise. But we already know this. Yet we don't do it. Why? The answer is simple. We have a million things to do. You have a job pushing you to work too many hours. You got kids to take care of, groceries to buy, things to cook, things to clean. And just a small part of that is to take care of yourself. And usually when we're pressed for time, that's the first thing we give up. But people want to stay in shape. People want to stay healthy. There's this drive for that. So it's no surprise that the U.S. fitness equipment industry is a $5.2 billion a year industry, with $1.1 billion of that being specifically for non-aerobic equipment for the home. In other words, bench presses, pull-up bars, giant racks. But what does it look like when you actually put that into your home? Probably something like this. This giant contraption in the middle of your living room or your bedroom that is a great idea for a couple of weeks. You work out, you're feeling good about yourself, but then reality hits in that you still have to live in your house. So it goes from workout machine to clothes rack, to a couple of weeks later, a dust collector, and a couple of weeks after that, it becomes the marquee item in your yard sale. Because you forgot that you still have to live in your house. People need something that they can get the benefits from the gym and bring it back to their home. Well, that's where we stepped in. My brother and I, we created what we like to call the Power Trainer, the world's most portable and collapsible home gym ever created, period. My brother, Dr. Brian Pogue, verifies that all of our exercises are safe. And with the help of Baylor University, we did a pilot study to prove the effectiveness of our machine. You can do over 80 different exercises with 5 to 200 pounds of resistance. And you can switch between exercises and resistance levels in a matter of seconds. Whether you're a 25-year-old man trying to put on muscle, or you're a 60-year-old woman just trying to stay healthy, you can do that with our device. But then, when you're done exercising, you don't just leave this up in your house. No. It collapses down with the pull of a single handle. It folds in half, and then you can take it wherever you need to, wherever it fits in your life. It can roll under your bed, behind your couch, in your closet. And what's really crazy is it only weighs 19.5 pounds. Our closest competitor that can match us for max resistance and user weight, it weighs about 79 pounds. I mean, this is a game changer when you're talking about portability in the home. But this is a competitive market, and we know that. People get that there's a need for health, there's a need for fitness. So there's lots of competition. So instead of just attacking the home market, like we've figured out through hundreds and hundreds of customer discovery interviews, I mean, every time we talk to somebody, they tell us somewhere else where we could sell this. And we're not just talking about homes, we're not just talking about apartments, but private military contractors, high schools, universities. The possibilities are amazing. But where we want to start is what we like to call the forgotten fitness market. First responders. There are 1.8 million firefighters at over 80,000 locations, many of whom work at fire stations that are too small, that are outdated. Thus, there's not a full gym inside. These are people who live in these fire stations. This is their second home. Thus, there's a great need for them to stay in shape on a daily basis but then they have to put up the equipment. Right now, a lot of these firefighters are just hauling around sacks with dirt in them or flipping tires because there's no equipment that fits their needs. And we can help with that. And we've actually are starting to create a partnership with the world's largest fire school, which happens to be down the street. And they want to help us reach these 80,000 locations. Help us help these firefighters. This isn't just about staying in shape. Can we help people get six-pack abs? Yes, we can. But this is so much more. We're going to change the way that people look at fitness. We're going to change the way people look at health. We're going to change the way that people live their lives. Because this isn't just a gym you put in your home. This is a gym made for your home. Do we have any questions?
Do you have a price point identified?
So right now, we're still working on lowering the price point, particularly when it comes to the contact hours it'll take to actually manufacture. We're looking at a price point around $400 with about $200 cost per unit.
Okay.
How would you go to market? Distribution, how would you go to market?
So that's what we're still trying to identify as the best way. As far as we've really focused on the manufacturing element of this right now, trying to get our costs as low as possible. And right now we're in that phase of identifying how we're going to market this, particularly with the help of TEEX. That'll allow us to get into contact with the fire stations for the B2B sales. When it comes to getting to at-home consumers, a lot of the fitness industry is driven by social media advertising. So that would be our best way to advertise, and then to sell this would be through online channels, getting on things such as Amazon and then through our own website.
Do you think you have any intellectual property to protect?
So we filed a patent, and we have a back filing date to December 2016. So we should be under review this year.
Was it a provisional or a full utility?
Full utility. So we had the back filing date from the provisional.
Thank you.
Can you say a little bit more about your pilot study, please, Bailey?
So we looked at about 3 to 4 different people. It was in one day, and we looked at bench press, squat, and sit-ups. Our best numbers came from sit-ups, looking at a 15 to 20% increase in muscle activation using our device with 20 pounds resistance compared to just holding a 20-pound dumbbell. So we get the extra muscle activation because you're getting resistance through the entire range of motion as opposed to having to rely on gravity. We would like to do a full study, and we have researchers at Baylor and Texas A&M who want to do those studies.
Who are some additional target markets that you've been exploring?
So we wanted to start with the firefighters. We've looked into police officers. We've had some interesting ones, offshore oil rigs. And then obviously the largest part of the market is the home user. A difficult thing right now is to figure out the possible size of the number of people who would want it in apartments, because there isn't really any equipment that fits people in apartments right now.
What do your friends think?
Oh, they love it. They're waiting to buy one. That would be great.
Market.
Do you have any other data about customer discovery? How many people have you talked to?
We've talked to probably around 600-700 people. That's split between particularly firefighters and then at-home users ranging from 16 to 65. So we've talked to, it's probably a pretty good split between men and women when it comes to the home users, and then primarily men when it came to the firefighters.
Who do you consider to be the toughest competitor to beat out there in the marketplace already?
There are 3 big players in the industry. Brunswick, Icon, and Nautilus. If you can name one of the major brands, it's probably owned by one of them. But I think our biggest competitor is a 4th one. It would be Total Gym, because they do have a design that collapses down, but it weighs about 80 pounds, and it takes multiple steps to close it down. And even then, their lowest model that matches around our price point, you can only do a fraction of the max resistance. So for them to be able to match the resistance that we do and the number of exercises, you have to step up to their next model, which costs about $1,000.
Do you have other models in mind of where you want to kind of grow your line?
Yes. I'm always thinking 10 steps ahead. Eventually, we would like to get electronics involved with this, be able to actually calculate the resistance that people are doing on their lifts, maybe something that would lead them. We do want to have a video series with this that would be led by my brother. There are very few video series that are actually led by a doctor that verifies the safety of every exercise. So that's a real thing that we want to push, that this is safe.